Our confessions. Story 1. I superglued my dad's car door shut and he still has no idea who did it. Exactly as the title says, and 9 years later I still feel bad about it and don't have the balls to tell him. I have no fucking clue as to why I even did it. I saw superglue in his car and just started putting glue along the seals on his door and closed it. I didn't even do it in a pranking way. Just a menacing, inconveniencing way. Dad was so understandably angry when he tried to open it, and eventually he just ripped it open and asked us who the hell did it. I pretended I was asleep the whole time, so he asked my brother if it was him, and of course he denied it, and Dad thought someone might have just came in our property and glued it shut. Fat chance there. Was like 3 phones and an iPad in the car, they would have been gone. Now that he lives 10 hours away, I'm going to call him and tell him I'll let you know how that one goes. Pray for me. Updoot. So I called and told him all about it, and he was just silent for like 10 super long seconds. I asked him to say something and he burst out laughing and said who else was dumb enough to do that? I knew it was you, you dumbass. He fucking knew. He knew this entire time. He asked me why I did it. I just said I have no clue. He wasn't even mad, he actually forgot about that incident entirely until I brought it up. I truly am a dumbass. Story 2. I lied, I did give you the donut that dropped on the ground. When we were kids, I offered you a donut when you got into the car, and you knew I dropped it on the ground. You knew, you questioned me about it, and I lied to your face because I was angry. I spent years trying to figure out why I did that, and why I was so angry with you, but it turns out I wasn't angry with you. I'm just jealous of you, but you were the only good thing I had. I guess I tried to push you away before you could leave me too. It kills me that I was so mean to you for a while because you are such a great person. You have a huge heart and you just didn't deserve that. Story 3. When I was a kid, I broke an expensive vase in a department store. It was a big fancy vase too. I remember my mother remarking about how her children would never do such a thing while we were in line to pay. She has never found out and will never find out the truth of that day. I feel bad for the store staff to this day because now I realize that they will have to pay for it if no one's caught of the crime. I'm sorry to both my mother and the staff. Story 4. When I was in high school, we had different houses, and my house was doing a charity drive. By selling chocolates. Each student was given a box of chocolates, and we had to sell each chocolate for what I think was $2.50 odd. I think there was about 40 caramel koalas in the box, so the total would be $369 odd if I sold all the chocolates. All the profits were supposed to go to a charity, but as this was in 2010, I can't remember exactly what the charity was, but I have a suspicion it was something related to cancer. Anyway, you were supposed to go outdoor knocking selling these chocolate, and that's exactly what I did. I lived in a pretty nice neighborhood, so I was quick to sell all my chocolates. After eating some, I made about $350 odd in total, and within the first week. The problem was, we had a time frame of about 2 months. I stored all the money in an envelope and put it in the top shelf of my locker, and that's where it was forgotten. I'm not sure why, but I missed any reminder to bring in the profits from the chocolates. I think it was during exams, and I was head down bum up with my studies. Months passed, and it was the end of the year, and we were doing locker cleanouts. I was cleaning out, shelf by shelf from bottom to top. I got to the top shelf, and the first thing that I grabbed was a weighted envelope. The envelope with all the money from the chocolate drive in it. Straight away, I panicked because I was shocked that I completely forgot to hand the money it. I was too scared to hand the money in, as I thought I was going to be accused of stealing, so I shoved it in my bag and took it home. For a while prior, I was looking to purchase an electric guitar. One of my friends was selling a Fender Squier Stratocaster with an amp for $300 odd. I talked to him and just agreed to the price, but told him to say that he sold it to me for $50 if anyone asked. He agreed, just so I could avoid any suspicion as to where I got $300. My parents included. So I got rid of the evidence with a guitar and amp that my friend sold me for $50. To this day, I have a huge passion in music. I've got a degree in music and now work in the non-for-profit sector. I'm happy to know that a lot of charities are BS, but I know it doesn't excuse it, and that there are some incredibly good charities including Cancer Council, etc. I've done community work over the years as well to balance the karma, but that's up to fate now. TL Drive. I accidentally stole money that was supposed to go to charity and purchased an electric guitar and amp. Story 5. I stole something at my 6th grade school fair a few years back. The guilt haunts me still. So I was in line with my money and actually bought a few things on the table. They were selling stuff, then I saw I was like 20 cents short and got sad. Went to another table to find more things. There was a huge crowd of students, and I had gripped the thing I wanted to buy, but I tried to push myself through the crowd to the people selling the stuff so I could. Then the bell rang. I got nervous and shoved my stolen item in the bag. Story 6. I work at a corporate restaurant and we have these little tablets that sit on our tables. We're supposed to ask for people to take surveys on them to get more shifts, and I never do. I just catch it before it goes out and take it myself. I'm one of the top rated servers. Nobody knows. Story 7. My friends and I once were responsible for damaging my neighbor's car and we watched. I remember we had the following day off from school and we slept around the block at my buddy's house, and around 5 a.m. we snuck out and went walking and came across a TV that someone had on the curb for garbage collection and thought it would be a good idea to place it in the road. We carried it to the end of our neighborhood and put it in the middle of a street that was about to get busy. After about 10 minutes my neighbor was heading out to work and he smashed right into it, and it actually made a small explosion and we took off. Never were suspected of anything and my neighbor got it fixed. Whenever I go to visit my parents I always look at his house and think about it. Story 8. When I was a teenager, my friend and I walked to grab her mail. Her mailbox was around the corner from her house. On our walk to the mailbox, we passed a car with a window wide open and I noticed a mini-sized bag of chips in the car. You know, the tiny size you get in a variety box of like 30 mini bags of chips. Well, I grabbed it and my friend and I ate the chips on our way to the mailbox, and then when we passed by the car again on our way back, I placed the bag back. But I had some balloon string with me I was playing with earlier, so I tied a little bow on a rock and put it in the empty chip bag and put it back in the car. I know it's fairly harmless, I technically stole like 25 cents worth of chips. But I often wonder what that person thought when they grabbed the chip bag and found a little rock with a bow tied on it. Story 9. About 6-7 years ago I worked at a bank where they had this coin counter. The machine only accepted US dollar and any foreign coin got stuck on the disk. The disk would get full of foreign coin, our job was to collect those coins, put it in a bag and send it out. Anyways, after working there a while I found out that coins can be worth a lot more than face value. So, every time the machine needed assistance, I'd go clear it, collect the ones I liked and move on. One day, a 10-ounce gold Kruger and gold coin got stuck. At the time I just thought it was foreign and didn't think much of it. Until I did a little bit of research and found out it was worth over $1,200, of which I sold at the Bears pawn shop. That was my biggest score. Flume countless coins that sold between $1 to a couple $100. Edit. It has come to my attention that it was 1 ounce and not 10. It makes more sense. Thank you for the correction. Story 10. So years ago I worked at 7-Eleven and usually did the swing shift. When their branded fresh items like sandwiches and salads and stuff expire, you're supposed to throw them away. I would grab a new trash bag and put it all in that and grab all the other garbage bags and take them out at the same time. Garbage would go in the dumpster, but I would hang the bag of food on the fence hanging over the backside. When I finished my shift I would go around the backside of the building and grab it and ride my bike home. I couldn't afford much food and I didn't want to be on any kind of welfare because I'm able-bodied. It was my workaround, but years later I still feel guilty about it. ETA. I guess I never really thought about it in the ways you are all saying. It's so out of character for me to do something like that. I've just been feeling like a thief all this time. Like I was unclean. But yeah, that was going to be thrown away anyway, so I shouldn't beat myself up over it. Thanks. I'm adding another edit here. I work a lot and am blown away by the number of comments. Some context needs to be said. I'm gathering. I was told by the manager and franchisee specifically that it would be theft. I asked. They didn't want liability. It's taken me about an hour to read all the comments and process them from when I stopped the other day, and this was a fledgling post. I'm new to Reddit. I just wanted to get something off my chest, but I saw maybe one comment talking about karma points.